Love is our true divine nature, and our heart serves as the intersection of the spiritual and physical, connecting our soul with our body as the conduit for anchoring our divinity onto the earth plane. Embodying our divinity is the key to our ascension and to manifesting our highest destiny in this life. The teachings of the heart are alchemy. Join spiritual mentor and channel Jennifer Spohr each week on a sacred journey to lift the veil to remembering your divinity and meet other beautiful souls who are living the path of the awakened heart. Hey everyone, I am really thrilled actually to welcome to the show today as a guest Marie Fleming-Grant. She is an energetics consultant, channel, and founder of the Awake Revolution, guiding starseeds, entrepreneurs, creatives, and humanitarians into higher frequencies. She guides and activates people to drop the baggage, wake up to who they really are, and revolutionize how they think, feel, live, and create, and to be all of who they are here to be. And this is all just so right up my alley. Welcome, Marie.
Thank you. Thank you for having me here. It's so nice to have the space to go into whatever we end up going into.
Yes, yeah, I'm really excited to connect with you, and for everyone that's listening, Marie and I have been connected through Facebook for quite a while, and this is actually, believe it or not, the first opportunity that we've had to connect, and so I'm so excited to share her frequency and her amazing work with everyone today. So Marie, I would love to just jump right in and have you share with us more about the work that you do and how you were actually called to this path.
Well, I think like everybody in this space, we have a story, right? That it feels like
Yes.
a completely different life now to the one that I led. So I'll give you the maybe the short, concise version. Because really, yeah, what I do now, it was a bit of a process. So going back, I don't know, maybe probably about 12 years ago now, I had my huge sort of awakening transformation moment, period of time. And it really came from just living very much just under stress, pressure, living that very typical 3D life. So I used to be a child protection lawyer, which is a whole different, obviously, like industry to the one I'm in now, the spiritual community. And and I just spent so many years working really hard, striving to just make a success and all the things that we get taught really young, And for me, because I'd gone through like my whole history had been quite traumatic. I'd had lots of family issues, emotional upheavals, so many things. I actually wrote a book because there's so much to share that journey. And so it was always very much pushing through, and it was exhausting myself, depleting myself. So what happened over a period of years was that I got so debilitatingly burnt out. So we hear about this a lot more these days, burnout and chronic fatigue. So I had really, really a severe level because I was very much that A-type personality at the time. I've since realized that I'm completely different type of energy. But back then I didn't know any other way. So I was pushing, 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 working, doing all the hours as a lawyer, juggling everything. And so my body just gave in and my body just said, we cannot keep doing this. So because I hadn't dealt with any of my trauma, any of my emotional, anything that happened in my life, it just came to a head. So just to kind of get into it very concisely, I ended up being so exhausted I couldn't get up out of bed. It was a scary time because I went from mind over matter. I was always Miss Positive, I'd read The Secret, and I thought if I just positive my way through and visualize my way through everything, that's how I'd create. And that's kind of how I did create. But of course, you only have so much energy. So my body just started to give me signals. And then I got very, basically just completely crashed, couldn't digest food, couldn't walk, couldn't move. So for about 5 year period, I was very, very, very low and I couldn't move and and I lost everything. So that was when I completely, like everything on the outside that matters, career status, all those things. And that's where I got my value from at the time. I felt good because of my job, of what I was doing in the world. So that when I lost all of that, oh, what an awakening, because I realized I didn't really like who I was. And that was the first sort of smack in the face, you know. Yeah, and that's when I reached a point of being very, very rock bottom, not wanting to be here anymore. And it was through that space where I really was playing around with the idea of, should I continue? I got this, what I now know was this channeled voice, this sort of thing that came in, and it was just very, very strongly said, you are here for a reason. And it was very it was quiet, you know, but it wasn't dramatic, but it was quiet, but it was enough to just give me enough of a flicker. And that's all we need sometimes. So that led me to that day trying to go, right, let me see if I can recover, let me see if I can find something, anything. And then, as kind of synchronicity goes, I found this clinic just at the right time. Um, and it was all around this illness because I'd been diagnosed with ME, chronic fatigue syndrome, fibromyalgia, those cluster of illnesses. So I found this clinic, and they were talking about transformation. They were talking about full recovery. All I'd been told by doctors so far, you know, was, this is not good. You're just going to have to live with it. Here are some antidepressants. You know, that's your lot.
Yeah.
And something in me was like, there must be more, you know. And I think this is the niggle that a lot of people get at certain points, where we think there's something more for me. This isn't just how it's supposed to be. So that was my first huge wake up. And then, because I went down that road, it was brilliant, and I transformed everything. I had to heal all the things. Very, very difficult, you know. And it did take me quite a few years to heal, to transform. And then in that process, I just completely had this transformation. And then I did go back into the legal profession for a little while, but I had changed so much. I was like, I could do it. I'm good at it. But I was so expanded. I was so expanded. And don't know, my worldview just opened up. And then I started to go, I love this area. Let me try and learn. So I started to train in things like hypnotherapy, therapy, coaching, NLP, timeline work, EFT, loads of things. And I just fell in love with this whole area. And that was the start of sort of setting up as an online business person. I was just making it up as I went along. And then it just led me over the years. And this was like another part of the awakening. I just gradually started to work with people, get my experience. But then, even then, it was like a big transformation that led me up to 2021, when I started to get really activated. My spiritual abilities just started to come in, ones I didn't know I had. And yeah, and then it, you know, obviously there's a whole story there, but there was this transition to sort of therapy and sort of safely talking about these things, to now full blown channeling, activating people, being very uh, vocal out there with what I channel, who I channel. And it's like a completely different life. So it's a really, yeah, it feels like a different lifetime in this lifetime if I compare before and after. Yeah.
It's so inspiring. And I relate to so much of what you're sharing too. I was in the retail industry before, but in a corporate environment in the last 10 or so years of my career in one of those positions, right? Where you're just feeling like you have to be on all the time. And we've talked about human design a lot on this show, you know, with various guests and referencing my own journey. And I believe you're a projector also.
I
I'm also
am.
a projector. And
Yeah.
so,
Oh, that's right. We connected about that, didn't I? I'm sure we did
yes, we
somewhere. Yeah.
did through Facebook. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And I identify so much, and I know a lot of our listeners do too, with that feeling of burnout, right? And it's just because you've at that point had been pushing for so long against the current of the nature of who you really are. I am a huge advocate for human design. I'm not an expert in it. However, I've, you know, dived pretty deep into a lot of the rabbit holes, and it's pretty accurate in terms of assessing, you know, kind of how we're wired.
Yeah, I definitely found that. It was very life-changing for me to find that out. I'd already worked through a lot of that already, but by the time I came to human design, about 3 years ago now, I've been really kind of going down those rabbit holes as
Yeah.
well. And it's, yeah, it really just clicked in. Oh, that's why I think that projectors and people without that sacral are very prone to burnout. Definitely. I think we have to really look at that. But I'd equally say, because I've worked with a lot of people now, because I used to specialize in in the fatigue and the burnout, and I still sort of do that work as well. But it's really every type can have this. It's just, I think certain types are more predisposed to it. But I think it's a human condition in the world that we're in now, that we're so geared towards living in this way where we're working in ways that do not light the soul up, and we're coming
Yeah.
out of that now. I really believe we're going into this new era now, which I'm very excited about, where we're going to be really working differently. The way that we're going to work, it's going to be very different, with the energetics, the frequencies, all of that beautiful side of life. Yeah.
Yeah, it really is really exciting. I feel that as well. And what you said is so true. It really isn't specific to the projector type. It really does apply to everyone. And that's because, we've been living in this society and been conditioned to believe that success has to be achieved a certain way, or that you can only live this
Yeah.
way. And it really is, in so many aspects, directly in direct opposition to the true nature of who we really are, right? As
Yeah.
these amazing creator beings.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And I think we're tapping into more of this soul alignment. We're hearing this phrase now, like it's like normal. It's sort of everywhere now, this soul alignment piece, which even a few years ago, we weren't hearing it as much, which I'm really loving. I'm seeing it seep into everything now, especially online. Yeah, so that's very promising, very promising.
Yeah, yeah, it really is. I speak a lot about, the importance of living embodied in the truth of who you are, and really getting connected with that intuitive voice. Before you moved into channeling and working with the Arcturians, which I'm really excited to have you share about shortly, but before you reached that point, tell us a little bit more about your own journey to getting acutely tuned into that voice.
Yeah, it's like a breadcrumb trail. That's how I describe it, because it was in 20, I think it was 2020, when the world, everything erupted. And I started to post about things around what was happening in the world. And it was a weird thing, because I was sharing things that I thought, I don't know this, but I do. And it was like this information I was starting to share. And I really checked myself, thinking, why am I sharing this? I don't fully know where it's coming from, but it felt absolutely true in my soul. And so I started to do this, and I started to feel like I was just getting very vocal in 2020. And then, as I was just doing my thing on Facebook and social media, as I was always doing for years, I started to come across suddenly, that synchronicity where suddenly
Yeah.
you keep seeing the same message over and over. And I kept seeing this thing around starseed. And I'd never really heard this word before, but it was resonant. And I would see a video, someone talking about star seeds, and then I saw another one. And this one particular video made me cry, because it was so
Oh,
emotional, and it was like an activation, and I could
yeah.
feel this recognition. And so that thing opened me up to, going down like another good rabbit hole around star seeds, and what are they? And, there are people that have come here from somewhere else. And I really recognize this. And then I think somebody added me to a group for star seeds. And I thought, oh, she thinks I'm a star seed. Like, she doesn't know me, but she just thinks I'm a star seed from all my posts and things. So I was getting really like pulled into this. And then I ended up, what happened? I got a star seed chart. I remember it was like an online thing, and it was telling you about your origins. And I had quite a few, because I was like made up of a few different ones, but the Arcturian one was the one that I recognized more and I got curious about. So then I started to just try to find information, which there isn't a lot of information out there about the Arcturians. I was trying to Google it and look up, and I found this woman on YouTube. Her name's Melissa Bates, and she was talking about Arcturians, and I recognized her energy. And then I just felt very drawn, and I basically booked a session with her, an activation sort of blueprint reading sort of session, because I was curious. And then she just laid it all out in this session, that I was connected to the Arcturians and the angelic realm, that I am a star seed. She kind of confirmed all these things about me. But the thing that I hadn't seen coming was, she said, oh, and you're also here to channel directly, very directly. And I thought, that is weird. I don't know how to channel. I don't that doesn't sound like me. And she laughed, and she said, well, it'll be in a few months, because they're preparing you in the background. And I was feeling all sorts of strange things as well. And I sat with that, and then I ended up it was a few months. I ended up seeing something that she was talking about, teaching you to channel, or activating you into channeling. And so I booked that. And then when we had this sort of session, it was just a very quick tweak she did with me, but she said, "Okay, channel," in the session, and I was like, "Well," and she said, "It's just a trust thing. Just trust what's coming through." And then as I did it, I really could. I found that I could just, it's not really hearing it, but it's like receiving. The way I do it is like I receive the information, the words, the whole kind of, streams of information. I do it in a very direct way. So it was just me really trusting that as it's coming through, just to channel it through without second guessing it, getting my human self in the way, which was a bit of a practice. But because I'd been doing this in other lifetimes, which I really understand now, for me, it was more, oh, you're just picking up where you left off. And this is what we're all doing, by the way. This is all, everybody listening. You're just picking up where you left off, with your spiritual gifts, your abilities, So it was like, oh, and then it just became really familiar. So that was 2021. So I've been channeling ever since. They got me very quickly to go very public, much to my dismay at the time. I wanted to hide away a little bit, but I'm very much here to be quite public and outwards with it. So they were like, nope, go on the Facebook and just channel some stuff on Facebook. And I thought, even my legal career and my colleagues and everyone will be looking. I lost a few people along the way, of course, but then I
Yeah.
gained a whole community of people who were very ready, and really wanting to connect with this energy. So it was a really a great personal transformation for me, because it brings up all the fears and the visibility stuff, which I
Yeah.
had to navigate. But yeah, I'm very in at ease with it now. Just channeling and sharing whatever wants to come through, to assist. Yeah.
It's such a gift. I mean, I believe, that we all have these abilities, right? A lot of people have the perception that, for example, the work that you do, right, a channel such as yourself, that there are only very few people that are capable of doing that. And I believe it's not about that. It's more about our own free will and to what extent we are willing, right, to open up. And what you said about trust is really important too, even in the most basic context of intuitive development. Cultivating a deeper sense of trust
Mm.
is so key, whether you're channeling at a more advanced level, or even just learning how to act on your own intuitive guidance that you're receiving.
Yeah, I really do believe that. I wouldn't have known this before I was doing this work, because I used to have that view. I used to think, oh, there's like certain special people that have these abilities, and not all of us do. But what I now know from channeling and doing it, it's like we're all, if you want to do it, you absolutely can. It's just, we might have different ways we do it. So I've got a channeling academy, and when I sort of activate people and take people through it, we're figuring out how do you actually bring that information through, because some people do it similar to me, some people do it in a very
Right.
different way, they receive it in a different way, they have different teams and guides, and they all have different ways. So I believe now, and I know now, that if anybody's listening, and you feel that you want to connect more, and this is the message that I often channel through, if you want to connect more with your guides, because we all have guides, we all have teams of guides, and also our higher self, we absolutely can. And I think it's important to say as well that with the channeling, some people misunderstand it. They feel, I've seen this been said a few times, they sometimes feel that channeling is not being energetically sovereign, or it's sort of giving away power to something else. And it's very misunderstood. It's really, when you're channeling higher frequency beautiful beings, we've got to make sure we're channeling the higher frequencies. They will only assist us. They don't take over our bodies. They don't take over anything. There's a lot of strangeness out there. They're very much here as friends. They assist us. They guide us. They don't override our free will. And they connect. And since I've channeled, I'm now able to connect with my higher self, which is the most important thing for all of us. If we can channel our own higher selves, that's where our own wisdom comes from, which is
You know,
beautiful.
I could just let you continue to talk for the whole rest of the episode because as you're speaking, you're literally everything that I'm, thinking of saying is like coming out. Literally.
Okay.
Everything. It's so funny. I love how in sync we are. Yeah, I'm really glad that you brought all that up because I've also heard some chit chat about that, right? How channeling isn't sovereign, and it's just not true. What is true and what is very important, which is what you said, is ensuring that you're cultivating a space where you're only allowing of your free will for only the highest and purest frequencies of truth, love, and light to come forward, right? And there are cases that do exist, right? Where there are people that are not as pristine in their hygiene of the space that they're creating and what they're allowing into their field. And there are some strange things that happen out there, right? I feel like I would be remiss if I didn't make it a point to mention that we need to know that happens and ensure that we are not giving away our power in any way.
Absolutely, yeah, and I think there are more of those stories coming through, I think, because we're talking about this a lot more. And I think I think it's important. It's good we covered it because it's very important to know that we also there's some cleaning up to do as well, which is a lot of what I'm doing at the moment with people. We're doing a lot of clearing the energy field because so many of us are here to turn our lights on and to connect in this way. There is going to be more infiltration attempts, and this is never anything to be scared of. There's no fear here, but I think it is something to be aware of because there's a lot of sometimes there's either denial of that or there's a complete ignoring that it even exists, so I think that we've got to just be really really mindful and aware that it's like daily lives. We don't just let anyone into the house. We're very discerning around who we hang around with, who we invite into our homes, who we get into a car with. We're very discerning. So we've got to be discerning in our energetics. And I think that's probably going to be a conversation that comes up more, I think, as people step more into the energetics. I think
Yeah.
that's going to be something to come back
Yeah.
to.
Yes, absolutely. And kind of on the opposite note of that, there are really just so many amazing beings, higher frequency beings, that are in so many different forms that are really here to truly support us,
Mm,
in our path, not just individually, but as a collective. We're just living in such an exciting transformational time, I believe. And that being said, I'd love to get more into the work that you're doing with the Arcturians because I'm speaking with you and literally it's like right here. They're like right here. So I think it's time.
okay. Feel free. So whatever you want to ask, whatever you want to know, happy to, yeah, share.
Yeah, I really would just thank you, first of all, just for you being here and all that you do and all in the way that you're serving as a channel and just the difference that you're making. And I would love for them to share with us, what is the most important information that they most want to share with us that we can immediately take action on, right? To bring ourselves into a higher path, not just as individuals, but as a collective consciousness.
That's a great question. Let's see what they want to bring through. Different ways to go. Okay, so there's a lot of, yeah, so what's coming through is a lot of delight in this question because they love this question. So there are many things right now that I'll just channel directly, that there are many things right now that you and one can focus on. So it may be different for each of you as you are listening, but one of the most important things is to very much make a decision. So you can make a decision that you now wish to connect and that you now wish to create and to move forward on your path in a higher frequency. And so making a decision is sometimes something that a human may forget to do. They simply haven't decided that they wish to move into this trajectory. And so we invite you to simply take a moment to make that decision. And then when you do, you can ask very clearly and directly to connect into your divine teams, your guides who are here to assist you. And many of you do have connections with us, the Arcturians, and also with the angelic realm, because we work together side by side. And also you may even resonate with other beings, but you can call in whichever ones that you feel resonant with right now, the ones that you recognize, and also the ones that you just wish to connect with. So we are wanting to encourage you also that you do not have to concern yourself as to whether you are connected with us or not, or whether you are a part of us or not, because you are. You are. We recognize that we are all connected. And so if you wish to connect into our energies, you absolutely can. It is just a question of deciding that you want to and allowing the connection to be made. And as you are hearing these words, you can allow yourself to receive our frequencies, and then you can recognize the frequencies when they come into your energy field. Yes. So that's to start with. They
Wonderful.
have other
Yes.
stuff, but yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. Can you also please tell us, for those who aren't as familiar with you, tell us more about who you are and your mission and also your role in connection with humanity at this time.
Hmm. Okay, so yes, so we are the Arcturians. We are speaking to you as part of the Arcturian High Council or the Arcturian Council of Light. We do not mind whichever names you refer to us as, but you will know us by the Arcturian energy. And so we are very much a part of an advanced civilization who have gone through an evolution the same as Earth. And so all it is that we are beings who are extremely, we would say, advanced in comparison to what you know on the earth plane. And so because we have moved through a significant evolution, we are very connected in with the earth. The earth herself has a very significant role to play in the bigger, greater universe. And so we as Arcturians, alongside other star beings, we are very much wanting to assist you. We have much love for humanity and the earth plane. And so as we witness you all moving through what you know as an ascension path, we understand the growing pains that this will entail. And so, even though you are all very familiar with the new earth energies and the wonderful creations that you are going to be bringing in, we also understand that alongside this path, there will also be much growth and challenge. And so, we are very much here to assist you through this challenging time. Challenging, but we will also say beautiful, exciting, magical times, but it will also entail some challenges. And so, we wish to wrap our arms around you, so to speak, and to provide you with much love and support. We want to connect with more of you. We want to help you connect into your own higher selves. This is a very big part of our mission. We are very much involved with the healing aspects on the planet. We work through different forms incarnated onto the earth plane. And so you are connecting with one now as she is speaking. And so we are connecting into many, many places. And so we are helping to heal the planet. We are helping humanity to undergo their own healing, and to have more awareness and knowledge, and to bring in more wisdom. We have technologies that we wish to bring through. We have higher frequency energies. And so we would say in earth language, we are very busy, although we do not resonate with this energy, but it is a word that humanity will understand. We are productive, we are wanting to assist. And so we very much want to bring the codes through of love. One of our greatest missions that underpin all of what we have spoken of is love, and to bring through the remembrance that there is no greater energy. And so humans have been programmed into thinking that this is a very soft, perhaps fluffy or wishy-washy energy. And so we bring in a remembrance for you as much as we can that it is the most powerful force. With love, with light, it dissolves heavier frequencies. And so when each one undergoes their healing and their connection, they are operating in a very powerful frequency. And so we wish, well, we are here to remind each of you listening that you hold so much light inside of you, even when you are not doing things of a productive nature, or perhaps doing as much as you feel that you should be doing. Know that you are doing significant work by your presence here, because you all hold a significant amount of light, and it is lighting up the entire planet. So it is very important for you to know this and to remember this. And even while you are sleeping, you are assisting the planet. Yes. Yeah.
Thank you so much for that information. As I know you are aware, our external circumstances under often show us otherwise. So it is good to receive that confirmation, that acknowledgement from you. So thank you for that.
You're very welcome. Yeah, that is a common one that comes through.
Yes.
So they like to share that one. I noticed that because we do feel sometimes, when we're on in the human journey, that we're not doing enough, or we're not making an impact, or we're not there
Yeah.
yet. And I definitely have those moments where I think, oh, I'm not doing anything, but it's our energies that are present. And what they remind me a lot of is that we're working as a team, all of us, like me here, you here, everyone listening, where we are really working as a team together. And we do need each other, because we're all lighting up different
Yeah.
parts of the planet in different locations, which is why all our favorite people are scattered around the planet, right?
Yes. So
Yeah.
true. I'm in the US and you're in the
Yep.
UK. Yes.
Exactly. Yeah.
Before we proceed, is there any other information that they want us to know?
Mm. There's a bit of a smiling there. Anything specific? They have loads of information. Anything specific that
It
you'd like to know?
Yeah, if there isn't, that's fine. What's coming forward for me is really something that what is a common false truth
Hmm.
or misunderstanding that can tend to easily kind of throw people off their path, right?
Oh, that's a great question. Yeah, let's see. A common misunderstanding. Let's see what they want to share. Oh, okay. Yes, that there are many saying,
Yeah.
but one that will be useful for now is the forgetfulness that you are multidimensional. And so the word multidimensional is starting to come into the collective more and more. And so you are, yeah, they want to remind us we have different, they're showing it to me in a visual. So sort of different categories of people. We have some people who believe that they have this human life and that is it. You only live once, that is it. And you get judged by the end of it. That's your one life. We have other people starting to question, maybe they have had other lifetimes, maybe they have had past lives, and they're starting to become more comfortable with this. And then they're saying there's another category of people where they are more at ease and they understand that they have had multiple lives, they've had many past lives. And so they want, one of the misunderstandings is that the past, present, and future is very linear. And more of you are understanding this now. But one of the big misunderstandings, and it is easily done because you are on physical form here, but to understand that the past, the present, and the future is not a straight line. It is not linear. When you understand and hold this very lightly, the more you hold this lightly, the easier it is for you to fully embody it. But to understand that everything is happening all at once. And so when you know this and you feel this, you can have a sense of yourself on this timeline, but you can also have a sense that there are other aspects of you operating on other timelines right now. And so when you have this understanding, which is clarity of what you really are, you can, when you tap into it, start to bring in information and visions and guidance from other aspects of yourself from other timelines. And so this is something that is greatly misunderstood or perhaps not known widely in present times, but this will be a wonderful thing for you to sit with and to feel into and to start playing with the idea. You can do this again. The lighter you hold this, the easier and more you will feel it. The more you try and understand it from a mind place, it can start to feel a little confusing. So they're just bringing that in lightly, but this will be a wonderful thing to have clarity around, because it is greatly misunderstood, the nature of you being multidimensional
Mhm.
is very vast. And so when you know yourself as this, you can get a sense of your own innate power, and the fears that you hold will dissolve. The worries, the restrictions, the beliefs that you feel sometimes on the earth plane can dissolve, because you will start to see more vastness, and you will allow more of this into your energy field. You are very powerful as humans, and they're smiling as they're saying this. This is why there is so much programming. You have to be programmed from every angle because of your power. If you were not so powerful, the energies that are on the planet would not have to work so hard to program you through entertainment, music, film, frequencies, news,
Food. Yeah.
food, products. They would not need to try so hard. They have to uh, bombard the human from all angles, because the multidimensional human is incredibly powerful. So we hope that this can be received and remembered and reflected upon, so that you can start to feel this within yourselves. And many of you from this message will start to see more messages around this, because you are now ready to step into this side of yourself. Mm.
So will it resonate with you for me to say, to put it in an even more simple context for people, right? In terms of moving from intellectual understanding to more of an embodiment of this concept that you've shared, for them to get more conscious around taking this in from into their heart and their body,
Yes, because
their
there
mind.
could be a temptation, yes, to take this concept and to intellectualize it and to start mapping it out as in the way that many of your education systems do. And so there is nothing wrong with this. However, when you do this, you start to come away from the frequency of it. So
Yes.
as you hold all of this lightly, yes, as you describe, it is around dropping into the heart, embodying it, and so allowing the energies and the information and the wisdom to come through the body, just so that you can simply know it. You simply know it in your body, not in your head. And there is a huge difference in the frequency, as we know that you are very
Yeah.
familiar with. Yes.
I find that I refer to that as the believing versus the knowing. Like believing
Yeah.
really coming from a space, the mental space, and knowing really coming from the body, from the
Yeah,
heart.
because beliefs can be changed. We can shift our beliefs. We know that,
Yes.
don't we? We work on our beliefs all the time. We can shift our beliefs, but beliefs are
Yes.
changeable. Whereas knowing is, we just know. We don't,
Yes.
nothing to say about it. We just
Yes.
know. Yeah.
What an amazing conversation today. Thank you. Thank you so much. Arcturian Light Council and Marie for sharing all of your wisdom. Is there, in closing, what else do you most feel guided to bring forward?
Mm. Yes, there are many things we wish to share, but for today, we will encourage those listening to do two things. To do two things, and one is to bring some attention to their health. And we do not say this in a heavy way, but more to do with, in current times, being aware, as many of you are, to make your choices from a place of health, not to make choices from a place of fear or lack or scarcity, but to pour into yourselves things that feel abundant in terms of health, good choices, positive things, things that you can feed your body, mind, and heart and soul. Um, this will be wonderful. And also, alongside this, that will complement this, is to get into a space of play. We always love to share this message because so many of you are working very hard on your missions, making an impact, or on your healing paths, which is all wonderful, and to continue to do this, but to bring in, very important, to bring in play and to take this more seriously, so to speak, to bring in play and lightness, because many times you can easily forget that this is a very high frequency. We, as Arcturians, we love to bring in the humor. We find humor in many things. We love to laugh. We hold the lightness, and so the humor that you have on the earth is a very high frequency. And so you can laugh and play and bring joy and lightness. And this is a very healing energy. It is not known about nearly enough on the earth plane yet, but the healing nature of laughter and play and joy, it is what you do very well as children. And so you just simply get programmed out of it. So we wish to leave you with this message to really allow yourself, and also, especially when you witness some heavy things unfolding in the world, it does not mean that you do not care and that you are not paying attention, but it is equally important as you see challenges, and you will continue to see these throughout this year and beyond. People in challenging circumstances or situations, it is especially important for you then to get into a state of lightness, however you can do this, because it is holding the frequency as much as possible. We also wish to say that, of course, we are not diminishing the human emotion. When you have those days of heavy emotions, you must allow yourself to feel these. But we are saying, outside of this, to remind you to bring in play as if it is on your to-do list. Yes, because sometimes this is not brought in enough, and this is a wonderful healing frequency for you. Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Marie, for those who want to connect with you in a deeper way, where is the best place for them to find you?
Yes, so I am predominantly on Facebook. Um, yeah, so you can find me on Facebook. I'm on all the platforms really, Instagram, YouTube, my YouTube channel. I have a lot of videos and hypnosis and things. But if you just head to theawakerevolution.com, that's my website, and you can find everything from there. I don't know if you probably have links or something here.
Yes,
Um,
we have that link in the show
yeah, the
notes
link
for
tree.
everybody.
Yeah, so the
Mhm.
link tree has links to everything all in one. It's easier. But if you just get lost, just go to theawakerevolution.com, and then you can just find me on whatever platform you wish. Yeah, all my offerings and books. There'll be more books coming out. I've written one, working on a second one now, which may be out by the time you hear this. It's called There's More to the Story, and this is around soul experiences, and making sense of why we experience certain things, certain challenges. So that should be out by the time you listen to this podcast episode, if I continue. Yeah, so there'll be more books coming through. And yeah, ways, we're just going to look at ways that we can assist humanity. So lots of, channelings, live streams, hypnosis sessions to watch, all sorts of things. Yeah.
Wonderful, Marie. Thank you so much. Thank you to the Arcturians. It's just truly such a blessing to finally connect with you today. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for listening to Path of the Awakened Heart. Be sure to subscribe to the podcast on Apple Podcasts or pathoftheawakenedheart.com so you never miss an episode. To learn more about living with an awakened heart and navigating your ascension journey, visit me at jenniferspore.com.